Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and today we're here with another planner video for our budget planner setup spreads for 2024's budget planner. This is my Erin Condren monthly planner. This is my budget planner for the year 2024 and this is in the Inspire design. I absolutely love this design. I think this is one of my favorite designs in quite a bit of time. I'm over here flipping through this and I realized I never removed these stickers that I placed a year ago in this planner. And my stickers are on matte removable paper, which is why I'm able to remove them after so long. But I wasn't careful and I did accidentally rip a bit of this paper. So I'm hoping that when August rolls around for us to set this up together, I can just cover it up with a sticker. I was supposed to remove these months ago, but I guess I just kept forgetting. And if you guys are curious, the reason why I have these in here is because I was demonstrating what the dashboard stickers would look like in the new Erin Condren dashboard layout, since they definitely did change this for the year 2024. Okay, so I officially peeled up all the stickers and I also did end up whiting out. I ripped up a little bit of paper up here as well, but I put some whiteout down to make it act like tape and it looks like it worked out pretty well. So if you guys end up accidentally ripping up your paper as well, maybe try the whiteouts. I just used some Tombow tape whiteout for it. But anyway, we definitely did just get sidetracked over there. Going back on pace, for today's video, we're going to be setting up our debt spreads, our debt payment spreads. We're going to be setting up two of them since I do like to keep mine and my husband's separated since it is from two institutions. I have my sticker sheets here with me as well. These are from my Etsy shop. I have design 6 and design 8. I have 8 different designs for the year 2024. I chose the design 6 for myself and then the design 8 for my husband's, so we are going to roll with those. These are going to be a part of our budget planner spreads for the year 2024. We do have some of them already set up together. I'll go ahead and link the playlist if you guys are curious about any of the spreads. For my budget sheets, just to show you guys real quick, I do have little scripts down here for credit cards, student loans, and then 3 different student loan institutions if you wanted to kind of correlate them out to specific ones. Mine's his, hers, and ours. I just wanted to fill up the space here if you wanted to separate out the different spreads per a person or per type or per institution. Now, let's see. I guess we'll just go ahead and do my husband's first. And I'm going to put his on this side since that's kind of what I did last year as well. And for his, we did make quite a bit of a dent last year, which is great. So this year we're starting off with less, but I don't believe I got to talk to you guys about the debt goal changes we have this year, because we are actually going to focus on paying down mine now. For the year of 2024, oops, I kind of went out of view for a second. For the year of 2024, I was going to hope to pay off my husband's debt, so we have a 1 less monthly payment, but we're actually going to change our plans and we're going to aim to pay for mine instead, or pay off a good bit of mine instead. The reason being is because for whatever reason, mine's the interest is just something else, because my monthly payments, when I look at it broken down, I go into the portal and I click on the payments and it tells me a breakdown of how much went to principal and how much went to interest. And a good bit of it has been going towards interest instead. I think like one of the months, basically all of the payment went towards interest and like a few cents went to principal. So of course that makes my monthly accumulation for interest, it just keeps going and going and going, and that's just not what we want to be at right now. So we decided to start paying off mine. At least my husband's monthly payments, it's like more of a 50-50 split to interest and principal, but for mine, it's like over 90% goes towards interest. So that is what we're going to be focusing on. For my husband's, his is at Nelnet, so I'm going to get the little Nelnet script and I'm gonna like move this over a bit more. I feel like I wanted to do that and then put the little nail net right here. I don't know if that looks weird, but this is what I ended up doing last year as well. But we're going to go ahead and write down all of the student loans that we had, because I do like to keep track of them every single year of how they change. This is definitely very personal of how you want to fill this out, but for me, I like to just have an overview of everything. So let's start with the first one. Since he moved over to Nelnet, the names have changed. So the first one, the name is going to be AA. The initial amount for this one is $1,750 when he first took out the loan. The current amount for at the beginning of 2024, these numbers I did write down in January 1st, is going to be $1,761.69. We do have interest accumulating now, so the interest for this one is going to be 3.61%. It's definitely important to know your interest so you know which one to focus on first, since interest is essentially just giving away the funds and the money. Next we have a B. This one, when he first took it out, it was at $1,000. And the current amount of this one is $0. This is one of the ones that is already paid off, but of course I do like to show it in here since I just like to see how it progresses. It feels really nice for me to see the ones that we've already paid off and how it has changed as time goes on. So this one was paid off 11/4/18. So this was definitely paid off quite a bit ago. This was probably one of the first ones we paid off because of the amounts we were able to afford it. And the total that we paid was $1,189.08. So we did definitely have quite a bit of accumulation and interest for this one. That's kind of why I like to have the amounts in here, because I like to see how much we paid in total. I don't know what it is for me when I see how much interest occurs. It makes me want to pay it off even faster, and it motivates me a lot more as well. The next one you have is AC. This one is $1,750. That was the starting amount. The current amount is also $1,761.69. Interest is also 3.61%. These two are kind of like twins, and that one has not been paid off yet. Next, we have AD. This one, the starting amount was $3,500. Current amount for this one is also $0, which is fabulous. The interest rate for this one was 4.41%, which was quite a bit. This was paid last year, September 29th, 23. And the total paid for this one was $3,487.40. It was definitely more than this, but unfortunately, since we made random payments over the years, I wasn't able to access the Great Lakes portal in order to get a full calculation of how much we actually put towards this one. I'm sure there was definitely interest accrued, but I wasn't going to put a guess with it, so I kind of just paid off this full amount. This is the amount that was transferred over to Nelnet from Great Lakes. So that's kind of why, of course, it's less than the principal of what was initially taken out. So that's what that one looks like. Next, we have AE. And for AE, the initial amount was $4,500. The current amount for this one is $4,450.71. The interest rate for this one is at 4.04%, and this is still ongoing. Next, we have AF. For AF, it was also an initial amount of $4,500. The current amount for this one is $4,442.18. The interest rate for this one is 3.51%, which is why it's a little bit less. And this one is also still ongoing. The next one we have is AG. For this one, the initial amount was $5,500. And then the current amount at the start of January is $767.80 for this one. The interest rate is 4.2%. Next, we have AH. For AH, we had $1,500. That was the starting amount when this was first taken out. And the amount that we're starting the year with is $0, which is another really, really good win. The interest rate for this one is 4.8%, so I'm happy that we paid that one off. And this was paid back in September as well, September 4th, 2023. The total paid was $1,494.77. Again, the primary reason is because it was at Great Lakes prior and I was not able to access how much those payments were, so it really does suck that I wasn't able to get the full number. I used to be a lot more on top of our debt, but I would have the receipts saved on our computer, but I definitely had moments of not being the most organized, so I was not able to track the full amount that was paid, but it's okay. So what matters is that we're tracking it now and we're on top of our budget as of right now. But the total amount that was paid when it was transferred over to Nona, it did accumulate over $100 in interest. I'm sure it was probably more, but since we couldn't get those exact numbers, this is what we're just going to have logged in for us for our personal kind of view of things. But that is what we're looking at so far. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. We had four of the loans paid off, which is so exciting. But I guess I might as well just say it now. We did end up paying AG off too. So that was also in January. We did a debt payment. I did not get to film that video, and I have yet to do a debt payment video with you guys to give you guys the updates for it, but I will have one for March, so we'll talk more about that in that video. Since we're here, we did pay that one off, and the total that was paid for this account was $5,508.84. So we still have 4 left for my husband's loans, which is really, really nice to see. I would love to be able to tackle the remaining of these for this year, but for when it comes to interest and just accumulation, it's just better for us to just focus on mine for a little bit. Now to put down this strip, let me actually just start from this side. This is just going to be our closing strip for this one, and we're going to add everything up. Adding up what we started with when we first had his loans was at $30,000. Now let's add up our starting amounts from January 2024. We have $1,761.69, that times 2 since these two are the same thing, plus $4,450.71, plus $4,442.18, plus $767.80, and then $31.05. Oops. Okay, I realized I accidentally wrote this number in here. That is wrong. This is starting with 0. I was like, why is the number so high? And I realized I made an oops there. So that is a lot better after that correction. Oh my gosh, I'm always making mistakes. But that is $13,184.07 that we started the year January 2024 with. So it's a huge difference going from $30,000 to $13,184.07. Okay, that is what it's looking like so far. Okay, I really am in a horrible habit of not looking at the camera, so I'm hoping I haven't been going in and out of the view. If I have, I really apologize. I'm trying to get back into the habit of actually looking at the screen. But now let's just lay down the rest of this spread. For the rest of this, it's really just the transaction log, just to kind of have a little transaction log back here if need be for any huge payments or lump sum of payments that were made. I'll show you guys what it looked like for 2023, since that's kind of what I got some of the numbers from, since it was easier for me versus logging back into the portal. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did for last year's spread, which is lay down this thin washi down here as well. I feel like I have to keep turning this so I can line it up nicely. Okay, last but not least, we have this thin strip and then the script. And this will conclude this side of the debt payment. All right, our transaction log, we'll just kind of throw right here. And that is what this one's looking like so far. I'll do the lines real quick and then I'll show you guys what last year's looked like in comparison. Alrighty, that is one side. And this is what it looked like last year in comparison. So we definitely started off with quite a bit more. Last year we started off with $26,000. So we made a huge dent and I'm so happy with that. In total we paid roughly $13,000 off. So this is what it looks like, and this is why I really enjoy having so much information in these spreads, because at least for me it just truly does continue to motivate me to make more of a difference by the end of the year, or at least goal ourselves to make more of a difference. Now let's move on to the next one, which is going to be mine. Mine is definitely a lot heavier than my husband's. I did start off as a pre-vet major, and honestly, I wish I did not, because I kind of maxed out on so many credits for the first 3 years. It was not really what I enjoyed. I did not really retain things. I just kept getting tongue-tied for everything. I couldn't pronounce anything correctly, and I just started feeling quite at a loss for stuff, and it's just unfortunate, to be honest, thinking back on it. I'm definitely getting sidetracked right now, but I guess this is just one of my regrets with going to college. I really do wish that I remained, like, I don't know, undecided or something, and tried a little bit of everything prior to making a decision on the major and then going into so much debt for that said major, because I switched my major towards the end of my, I think, my 3rd year in college. And I switched it to cybersecurity. And of course, that means all of the funds I spent on labs, on courses, all of that ended up going into just like gen eds, and it was just so sad. Enough about that. For mine, I have my student loans with Advantage, and we're going to talk about this one as well. This one, the change is not as drastic as my husband's, since we did not really focus on paying this one as much as his. But of course, every bit matters, and especially since this year we'll be focusing on paying this one. Mine, the first loan is $101, the initial amount. Hopefully you guys don't judge me. I definitely did take out quite a bit since I was also living on campus as well. It's really not the smartest decision to live on campus, but I was having issues at home, and it was the best that I went to campus. But the very first one, we had $3,500, and this has accumulated some interest. Interest is 3.61%. This has not been paid off yet, so it's still ongoing. Okay, I was talking and I wrote down the wrong number. This definitely keeps happening. I need to focus. All right, so 35, 85, 98. So not too much difference from what I wrote. Next, we have 102. This one started off with quite a bit. This was at $6,000. The current amount for this one has accumulated so much. This is $7,432.47 that was started with for this year. And interest rate is 3.61% as well. Next, we have 103. For this one, we had the starting amount of $3,500. Current amount is $0. We did pay this one off. This one's interest is 4.41%, and this was actually paid off last year as well, 10/7/23. We focused on paying this off because of the interest. It was so high. And the total that we paid for this one is $3,526.68. Next, we have 104. This one's the starting balance is $6,000. This one's paid off too, which is really nice. It is at $0. Interest for this one was, I think, one of the highest ones. 4.66% is quite the bit, and this was paid back in 2019. The total amount for this one, the accumulation in interest, is also so much. Total was $7,383.82. So for interest, this definitely collected almost $1,400, which is, oh my god. These huge ones, it's so sad to look at, but it kind of is what it is. But next we have a balance of our starting balance of $4,500. We still have this one ongoing, and the amount right now is $4,525.98. $1,000.74. Interest for this one is 4.04%, so that's still ongoing for this year. Then we have 106. Starting amount for this is another $6,000. You know what's crazy too, because I also was always a part of the dean's list, and I also got grants and stuff too. So despite all of that accumulated grants and rewards, I still have so much debt. It's so sad. Now for 2024, the starting amount, $7,073.71. The interest for this one is also 4.04%. Next we have 107. Starting amount for this loan is $3,500. Have not paid this off yet, so we are at $3,516.76. Interest rate for this one is 3.51%. Then we have 108. Starting amount for this one is another $6,000. And then this one's still ongoing too. So we're at $6,720.08. Another good chunk of interest that has been accumulated, and interest is also 3.51% for this one. Next we have 09. 09, starting amount is $5,500. This has not been paid off, so we still are at $5,532.83. Interest rate for this one is 4.2%. Then we have 10. This one starting amount is $7,000. And of course, with interest, we are at $7,653.60. Interest for this one is at 4.2% as well. Now we have 111. Starting amount for this one is $2,062. And finally, we're getting to some that were paid off. And this one was paid off. Luckily, we were able to afford it, and especially with it being such a high interest. This one was paid $828 last year, 2023. The total amount for this one was $2,069.15 that we were able to accumulate. Last but not least, we have our 12th loan. This one, the starting amount was $1,397, and this one was also paid off. The interest for this one is the highest of all too, which is 5.05%. It was paid off back in 2019, and the total that was paid for this one was $1,471.57. So that is what all of these loans are looking like. And let us put our closing strip and do all of our calculations to see. I'm really excited to see what the difference will be by the end of this year. I do these breakdowns every single month with you guys as well in my debt videos. I know that I have a multitude of different breakdowns for my various expenses, budgets, debts, but I just really do find great joy in seeing things in different aspects. But I laid down on one of the thin washies, and I realized I didn't move it down more, but I mean, the space is less, so I think that's fine. But I'm going to put down my lines real quick, and let's do the totals. Alrighty, now adding all of this up together for the starting initial amounts for all of our loans that we've taken out in our whole life, in my whole life, the total is $54,959. I know it's definitely not little. It could be way more, so I am grateful that it's where it's at. Of course, everybody wishes that they wouldn't be in any debt, but I mean, gotta take it for what it is. So let's add up our current amounts for what we still have to pay and what we're starting with for the year of 2024. All right, so the total after adding everything up is going to be $46,041.17, which is definitely quite the heavy number, but at least we've paid, it looks like, roughly like $8,000-ish since the life of these loans. But hopefully as this year goes on, we will be paying more down. I'm going to lay down the rest of these stickers. I think I'm going to just lay down this transaction log first, just to make sure I have enough spacing for everything. So let me put this here. Okay, I ended up just moving that glitter washing down a little bit because the spacing looked a little odd to me. But we're going to put the final couple strips and then we will be done with our debt overview videos for the year 2024. So glitter washing down, final strip. The sheet is now completed. And I'm going to go ahead and draw the lines real quick and I will be right back. So now that is what this spread is now looking like. Oh my goodness. This is what they look like right next to each other as well for 2024. Also, I forgot to show you guys the difference between this one and my last year's for Advantage. So it looks like last year we started with 51,000. So the change for starting with 2024 has gone down by at least 5,000. So that's actually really good to see, very happy to see as well. That is actually going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much as always for watching. I hope that you guys did enjoy this. My next video that I do have to film too that I'm really excited about as well is I do want to finally set up my debt trackers overview spreads with you guys too. These are to track all of our remaining open student loans and to have like a visual of each one of what percentage we're at, so on and so forth. So I'm hoping to be able to film that soon. I wanted to film it right after this one, but I have to go pump and I have to go put one of our babies to sleep. So I'm hoping if I can come back to it today. If not, hopefully I'll be able to find time to film that video within the next coming days, and that video should be up within the next coming weeks. But as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye!